Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So I think round 4 of Six Nations is just finished. So we really are at the business end of the competition, and it's fairly wide open with a lot of the scores and the bonus points that have been happening. So yeah, let's crack on with what I saw in the games. I watched 2 of the games live. I didn't watch England versus Italy, and then when I saw the score, I just thought, yes, it's going to be real one-way traffic, and it might not be interesting, but maybe I'll try catch it this week. But I've got quite a few Super Rugby games that I'm trying to catch up on, so I think I might end up watching those. So first game of the weekend, we had Scotland versus Wales. I thought, how can I explain this game? I wasn't super impressed with Wales. I thought in the first half they played fairly okay. The second half, I think they let Scotland back into that game quite easily. But one thing I have to say is that obviously Scotland were on attack, and they only really broke the defence once. I think it was a sign of a team that's really good at defence. But at the end of the day, let's be honest. We're talking. Even if you're having a bad day, to pull out a victory is still great. And I think it's a sign of a good side, of a class side. And I think Wales are the real deal. They really are the real deal. I think they're one game away from the Grand Slam. If they can beat Ireland next week, which is going to be a big ask. But they've got everything stacked in their favour to win next week. So yeah. Look, at the end of the day, 18-11 is not the greatest score in the world, but a win's a win. Scotland can take a lot from that game. I think they've got the real with Finn Russell back. They've got some really good attacking base to come from, in their backfield. But yeah, like I said, wasn't pretty at times. It was a bit rough at times. But essentially, it was still a great game of rugby. It was really good, and Wales pulled out the victory in the end, and for them that's the most important thing. At the end of the day, you can get to the end of a World Cup, and it could be the ugliest game in the world, but you're still going to hold that trophy at the end of the day, regardless of how you played. Next game we obviously have England versus Italy, 57-14. Like I said, haven't watched this game. I just thought it might be, that kind of one-way traffic. It's just going to be. Because I know, once a team goes about 21, 28 points down, it's really difficult for them to get out of that mindset of losing. So yeah, I'm probably not going to end up watching that game, but we'll see next week with France versus Italy. Maybe Italy can get their first win against France, and yeah, maybe a bonus point victory, and maybe they can get out of bottom spot. Next game, which I enjoyed this game the most, was Ireland versus France. I don't know what Ireland were trying, but that saying, you can't beat New Zealand by playing Test rugby. You have to score tries, and it just felt like that they had a game plan that they went into that game, because if they went and shot those penalties, there would have been an extra. I don't know, there'd be a hell of a lot more points than what they actually scored in actual tries, because there were kickable penalties for Johnny Sexton, but they kept going for that corner. They kept going for the same corner. And I'm going to be honest, I was fairly impressed with France for quite some time. Their defence was rock solid. It was just that one move, literally one move, that Johnny Sexton got that try. It was that reverse pass. And Johnny Sexton came around the corner and scored that try. It was a really well worked trial. That one specific move and they got through. But yeah, France lost the plot. I don't know where the hell they go from here. I don't know. I think there's one more game or 2 more games to the World Cup, so they can't get rid of their coach. They're just going to have to accept that this is what this is where they are. But yeah, I don't think France have such bad players. I just think they're seriously not coached very well. They had absolutely no structure, no game plan. And I think Ireland were trying something new. They were going for the corners. They were just trying something different. And I think they learned something a hell of a lot from that game. They did allow France back into the game when they emptied their bench. One thing I did notice, my favourite player plays for Ireland, CJ Stander, ex-Bulls player. So you gotta like him. And one thing I've noticed, normally he's brought in just for ball carry to get over the gain line, or to obviously break the defensive line, which he does really well. He did really well in that game for that. But that offload that he did is not vintage CJ Stander. The guy's learning new skills. He's learning the offload, and you could see the gap was created because they were expecting him to run into contact, and he offloaded the ball and it was a try. And I think that's going to be the special thing that's going to carry Ireland forward. I think their forward play is going to be the way that they are going to dominate going forward. But yeah, dominant display from Ireland. The score maybe doesn't reflect the kind of dominance that they did have. I think they set up shop in the France's 22, and it was just credit to France's defence and maybe a few fumbling errors from Ireland that they didn't score any much higher than that. But yeah, this opens it up wide for next week. If Ireland beat Wales and England beat Scotland, who's gonna actually win? So yeah, it's very, very open end. I have to say, I've watched Rugby Championship my whole life. I've watched it for years, not my whole life, but I've watched it for years. And obviously we're always very happy when South Africa or Australia wins, but we pretty much settled that we know who's going to win the competition. It's always going to be New Zealand. And here's a competition where you literally don't know what's going to happen week on week. Yeah, there's a whole thing about getting the Grand Slam, which I think is a really nice concept. I think if they do this League of Nations or whatever they want to call it, I've got my own opinions about that. It might be an interesting way of playing because I've really thoroughly enjoyed the Six Nations. I think it's an exceptionally good competition. I think there's exceptionally good crowds, and the games are interesting and they're close, and you never know what's going to happen. Next week it's the last game, and we don't know what the hell's going to happen. Like I said, if Wales win it, they get the Grand Slam, they take the tournament. Great for them to lead up into a World Cup with that kind of momentum. Ireland are back. England are seriously dominant. They've got some exceptionally good players. I think Scotland's been a little bit unlucky. Maybe they just don't have the same kind of depth that the other teams have. Maybe they just don't have the player base to pull from. But I still think Scotland can upset any team on their day. But yeah, I thought it was an excellent weekend of Six Nations rugby. What was your guys' favourite game? For me, it was Ireland versus France. I thought that was an exceptional game, just from on how to play tactical, aggressive, hard, camping in 22 kind of rugby. So put down your comments down below of who you thought and who your players are, who your favourite players are, and what game was your favourite. Listen guys, have a great week. Chat soon. Bye.